welcome. I am Katie Denalden with Rooted Wellbeing, and today we are playing in the kitchen, in my kitchen, and we are going to be playing with kale. Look at this luscious, gorgeous, vibrant green, leafy loveliness. Kale is one of the best leafy greens we can add to our diets. It is a freaking nutritional powerhouse. It's high in vitamins A, K, E, high in calcium, it's high in fiber, so it keeps things moving, and it's full of protein. Yes, 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 your greens have protein. Kale is such a good thing to add into the diet, and a couple weeks ago I posted a recipe on the newsletter for a kale chips, and I received a couple emails from people saying, tried the recipe, it didn't turn out how you had described it, it wasn't really exactly how I thought it would taste, the crunch, the texture, that kind of stuff. So a lot of times I might recommend a food or something and you don't know what to do with it, or you might see a health food out there and you're like, that's great, but I don't know what to make with it. So we're kind of easing that transition, and we're going to be making kale chips. I'm going to show you by video so that you can start making this green goodness in your own home and get it to your kids, your family, yourself, and is a great substitution for potato chips or any of the other kind of chips out there on the market. So we're going to go ahead and jump in, and I'll show you how to get started. So we have our kale chip, or a kale stem here. What I'm going to do is I am going to just start removing the leaves from the top, and then you can just go down like this. So we're basically taking the stem out. When I take the stem out, it's going to leave me with a long leafy thing like this. We're going to take it, tear it into probably 8 pieces or so, make about bite-sized pieces. They'll be about that size or so. Make them smaller, bigger, however you want. We're going to do that to all of the kale pieces. Okay, so I now have all of our kale pieces all torn up. Yeah, look at that goodness. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set those aside as I make the sauce for the kale chips. So what we're going to start with is a blender. I'm going to start with half a cup of almond butter. This is raw almond butter. The reason we want it raw is because it hasn't been heated, it hasn't been processed, so it's in its natural form, much easier to digest. We get a lot more vitamins and minerals absorbed through it. I'm going to add honey. In the recipe that you'll see on the screen, it's going to say 2 to 3 dates, pitted dates, or 2 to 3 tablespoons raisins. You can also use any other sweetener. My favorite is raw honey, so we're going to add raw honey, about 2 to 3 tablespoons. Okay, the next piece I'm going to add about an inch cube of ginger. You can peel it if you want. If you have a high-powered blender, you can throw it on in, it's going to grind it right up. Just make sure you get the dirt off of it and wash it. So we're going to throw that in. I'm going to throw in 3 garlic cloves, which is the same if you want. You can remove the outside of it, or you can just throw it in if you have a high-speed blender and grind it all up. We're going to do the juice of 1 full lemon. On the recipe it'll show you can do 1 tablespoon lemon juice, 1 tablespoon lime juice. I'm kind of working with what I have in the kitchen and also showing you some substitutions you can do if you don't have anything. The next thing you're going to add is cilantro. Again, I didn't have cilantro in my kitchen, but I'm going to add mint. Any kind of green, whether it's mint or it's cilantro, it's going to add that kind of herby and spicy flavor to it. So we're just going to add the 2 tablespoons mint, and this is kind of fluffy, I haven't cut it up, I'm just going to throw it into the blender. The next piece, where this is going to get where the Asian flavors kind of come through, is we are going to add 1 tablespoon of tamari. Tamari is soy sauce, but it's gluten-free, so they've taken the wheat out of it, and for a lot of people it causes a lot less digestion problems. The next is the serrano pepper. You're going to want to cut it and take the seeds and the white pith out and add it. Or you can add cayenne pepper. So what I have here is cayenne pepper, and I'm going to add about ½ a teaspoon of that just to give that little kick. And then the final thing I'm going to add is about ½ a cup of water. So we're going to get that going, and I'll show you what the sauce will come out like. So good. You can put this on vegetables, you can put it for a wrap, you can put it on anything. This sauce is fantastic. We're going to put it on kale chips though. So we've got the sauce. The sauce is done. It is delish. And it's about the consistency probably of a heavy cream. And we are going to pour it onto this. Because we're going to bake it in the oven instead of a dehydrator, we're going to use less sauce. The more sauce you add, if you're putting it in the oven, the longer it takes to bake it, a lot of times it'll burn it. So we just want to lightly coat the leaves to give it that little flavor. So pour about half the sauce on. We're going to massage it in and see where we're at. Okay, so I've used about half the sauce. It's just lightly coated, just enough to give it some flavor. You don't want it heavy coated unless you're using a dehydrator. What we're going to do is we're going to spread it out on a baking sheet like this. If you have a pizza pan that has little holes under it, that's even better, but you can definitely make it with this. Now spread it out as even and thinly as possible. You don't want to layer it up too much, otherwise that's going to cause it to not turn out right. Okay, I've got them spread out. I'm going to pop them in the oven for 20 minutes at about 350 degrees. We're going to take them out, see how crunchy they are, stir them around and put them back in for a little bit, and then we'll eat up. Okay, it's been about 20 minutes. They're just starting to get crispy on the edges. I'm going to stir them around, mix them up, flip them over. I'm going to put them back in and let them finish the last crispiness. Okay, they've been in the oven for about 15 minutes more. We're going to take them out, check to see if they're crunchy, and we'll get you rocking and rolling. They're looking good. Hear the crunch?
What am I eating?
Thai Peanut Kale Chips.